Welcome to my world. I'm your host, Kevin Rutherford. It is Monday, July 21st. We are here live. My co-host, Brent Hutto, is here with me. And it is a Monday. Boy, it feels like a Monday today. Brent, good morning.
Morning, KR. It kind of feels like a Monday. I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Well, maybe I do know what it is. It's raining here. I don't think I have seen rain in July in the entire 12 years we've lived here.
Oh, my.
We never get rain in the summertime. And I mean that, never, not a drop. When summertime starts, there's no clouds, there's no rain. Yesterday was kind of cloudy on and off all day. And last night I was sleeping in the coach. And when I do, I have those roof vent fans. The really high-tech ones. They can check humidity and temperature and come on and off and close when it rains and all those things. And it's been on every night for a month. And I woke up this morning and I'm like, oh, what went wrong? My fan's not running. I immediately realized my fan isn't running. I'm like, oh, something must have gone wrong electrically. And then I was laying there and I thought, is it raining? And sure enough, it's raining. It's just so odd for us.
Do the fans cut off when it's raining?
They close. Yeah, they're vent.
They do.
The lids
automatically.
are up. Yeah, so they sense rain and they close. And then as long as you leave it on when it stops raining, they'll reopen and the fan will come back on.
Right.
Yeah, they're really nice.
I got it. Well, that makes sense. So
yeah.
So now, so did your other AC not kick on when you?
So the nice thing here
when they shut
is. Even those, we had some hot days, low to mid 90s. As soon as the sun goes down. The other thing that's weird about here, I'm used to living in places where the high temperature is usually between noon and 1 o'clock. Here, the high temperature.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Here, the high temperature hits around 5 or 6 in the evening. The temperature just builds all day and then peaks around 5 or 6. As soon as the sun goes down, though, no matter how hot the day's been, it cools off immediately. And the temperatures get down into the 50s and 60s at night. So I don't use the air conditioning. What I do is I have 2 of those roof fans, and I set them to blow out instead of in. And then I just open the little window right next to my bed. And it's colder than air conditioning and blows right on you. It's wonderful. So that's how I sleep. And it gets cold, but I woke up this morning. I'm like, why aren't the fans running? But now I know it's raining.
Well, it's rained a lot here in the South where I am. And yes, it gets, it never cools off, as you know, where I live in the South, but I just spent time in Northern California, which is fairly close to you. And it's like 55 in the morning. And then it's 100 in the afternoon, but it doesn't. You're right. It doesn't get really warm until about 4 o'clock, 3 or 4 o'clock. And I know that in Boise, which I'll be at on Wednesday, it gets to it'll be 55 in the morning and 110, 115 in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's for sure.
High desert, man. High desert.
High desert.
High desert. The way it works.
That's right. What else is going on? I poured my first concrete countertop over the weekend.
You did? You finally did it.
It's done.
So
it's done. In fact,
how much weight did you pour?
Hold on.
All right, what you got? Oh, I see it after the table.
Yeah, and the table's part of the fence. Yeah, nice.
Yep, huh? I see that.
It's got a sink in it. And, yeah.
Now, where's the bench you were talking about?
That is the bench you're seeing there, the countertop, like a workbench, garden bench.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it. Okay.
Yeah, and it's
how long did it take you to pour it? How long did it take you to pour it?
It really takes 2 people because you've got to mix. I had to mix 8 5-gallon buckets, so there was 60 pounds of cement mix, another 10 pounds of an additive, and then probably close to 2 gallons of water. Pretty close. The bucket was full. That bucket had to weigh 100 pounds by the time we got done. Took 2 people to lift it and then pour it in. And then one works it while the other one mixes again. So 8 5-gallon buckets. So probably right around 800 pounds, which is exactly what Claude told me it was going to be.
Well, Claude was your construction manager on the project
and engineer. Yeah. Yeah.
So how long does it take it to dry?
So I let it sit for 48 hours. You can snap the molds off after 48 hours. The edge molds, I snapped those off. Then you can sand it.
Right.
And so I sanded it yesterday. Probably took me about 4 hours. And then I was going to seal it. But the sealer, and it was perfect weather yesterday to seal it. But by the time I got done, it requires 2 coats and 4 hours between coats. And it was too late in the day. I wasn't going to be able to do it. But now it's wet again. So now I got to wait for it to dry because it's raining. Never rains here. Did I say that?
How long does it take?
It never rains here in the summertime. Yeah.
I see you have your Columbia shirt on. Is that you're throwing back to the gorge or what's going on?
Yes, that's the gorge reference.
I got it. I know the company Columbia really well.
You know, it was kind of funny because when Lisa and I first moved out here, we didn't even realize that we really liked Columbia products. Jackets and that kind of stuff, and we had just bought some. Yeah. She went online and ordered like rain jackets because we got here, and in the wintertime it's the opposite. It rains all the time. Summertime it never rains. Right. So right after she ordered them online, we realized, wait a minute, the company's right here. They're right here. We could have just went down to the outlet store and bought last year's stuff, which is, half the price, and who knows the difference between 1 year to the next, right? Like, it's not like a car, like you really have to have the most recent model. But, the other weird thing, speaking of Boise, the first time we drove from here to Boise on 84, headed in that direction, we passed the Ore-Ida plant.
Oh, yeah.
Potatoes.
The potato plant. Sure.
I never understood the name was Oregon, Idaho, because it's right there on the line. Or Ida. Never once dawned on me that's what that was.
Wait a minute. At least I figured that out.
Yeah, no, didn't figure it out till we saw the plant right there at the state line and thought, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Nobody.
Oregon, Idaho. I get it. Yeah.
Look, you always think of Idaho for potatoes, but not Oregon.
Right.
Nobody thinks of Oregon for potatoes, but a lot of the potatoes do grow in eastern Oregon.
Yeah, for sure they do.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of potatoes and onions. A lot of onions grow in the same area as well. As a matter of fact, it was interesting when I would go into Boise all the time and driving out to New Plymouth, you'd see these giant onions, like about this big, laying on the side of the road. And I was like, first off, why are they laying on the side of the road? Well, there's a lot of onion production in the state, and I'm like, but they're huge. I mean, they're not like, the onions I see are like Vidalia onions, right? Sweet cooking onions. They're maybe this big. These onions are like this big. They're like softball, bigger than a softball. And they're the onions so you see all these trucks going down the road, and they are the onions that you buy at Outback Steakhouse, which is the big blooming onion. Oh, That's the onion.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There you go. That's supply chain. We're talking about trucking now.
That's it. We're right in the middle of transportation. That's right.
Yeah.
So there are lots of agriculture in Idaho. Another amazing thing about Idaho is the way they built the canal system, so they could bring the water up from the rivers and maybe actually be able to cultivate and grow plants and grow food on the land. It's pretty amazing. The canal system all over parts of Idaho.
Yeah, it is amazing, and I can attest to that because did I mention we don't get any rain in the summer? I think I did.
You may have mentioned that.
Things grow great here as long as you provide them with a lot of water because it's really dry. There's no humidity here in the summertime and there's no rain. Right. So you have to do a lot of watering. Today I don't have to water because it's raining.
Well, that's a bonus.
I guess so.
Yeah. So how long have you stayed down at the homestead? Because last week you were in the coach, but I know you're at the homestead, and now you're in the home. Yeah. What's going on? How long are you staying down there?
I think I've been here about a month. I don't have any plans on leaving.
Yeah.
Lisa comes and visits once in a while.
I was going to say, is Lisa there with you, or is she back at, shipping stuff out and getting stuff done and running the business, right?
She's running the business. She comes and visits. We meet for dinner once in a while. I go home for, a night maybe, although I haven't even done that in a while. But I'm getting a lot done, both work-wise and farm-wise, because once I'm exhausted from the farm work, or on a day like today, I'll just work. But we have so many projects going on. And if I'm here and I'm by myself, I just work. I work till I go to bed. I work when I get up, and I enjoy it.
Right. No, you're like Elon Musk. You're just working all the time.
Well, there you go. Nobody's ever compared me to Elon Musk before.
Well, I mean, you're a pioneer in our industry, so yeah, why not?
Oh, I thought you were calling me autistic.
I was not calling you autistic.
Okay, just checking.
No, I think to me, I look at someone like Elon Musk, and when people might refer to him as having some type of a behavioral disorder or whatever it might be, I don't know if all that defining is fair on human beings. It's just his personality. It's the way he is. It's the way he operates, and for some reason, we want to call it something different, and it's just part of one of our personalities. With
I agree with you on that, and you have to believe that somebody who can accomplish what he's accomplished has to think differently. They just have to. I mean, if it wasn't different, then everybody would accomplish things like that. Somehow, the way his brain functions, it's like some people are just amazing at music, and others just aren't. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have different personalities, we have different strengths, our brains work differently. The argument of, I think when you and I were growing up, I may get the numbers wrong, but you'll get the idea. Autism was like 1 in 500, it was a...
Oh, yeah, it's low.
Yeah, now it's 1 in 36.
Yeah.
They actually claim...
RFK Jr. would say that. Yeah.
They actually claim for males, because it's more prevalent in males, for males by 2030, we're 4 years away from that. By 2030, for male children, it will be 1 in 2.
Let me ask a question. How have they, and this is where I struggle, KR, how have they broadened that definition? Here's an example I'll give you. So we use Elon Musk, somebody we see in the news, but not somebody we know, and obviously he's done a lot of cool things. Well, it might shock you. You probably know this story already. I may have said it to you, or Scott may have said it to you. When he was in school, they thought he was autistic.
Yeah. Because
he thought differently.
Right.
And I've known Scott for almost 30 years. As long as I've known you, same year I met you and I became friends, the same year Scott and I became friends. And I would never put Scott in that category. Does he think differently? Absolutely. Is he a problem-solving, mathematical kind of processing whiz? That's one of his gifts. It's not an affliction. It's a gift. So this is where I kind of go, how have they broadened the definition where, everybody's got a problem?
I agree. I think two things have happened. There are some obvious cases of autism. And I know they call it a spectrum, and
for sure,
you could be anywhere on the spectrum. I kind of get that. There are the obvious cases where it becomes a handicap, where they can't really take care of themselves, and they're not going to function well in society. But then you've got the other end of the spectrum, the richest man in the world. Mm-hmm. So I think two things have happened. One, I think you're right. We've broadened the definition of what the word even means, and I don't know that it means much anymore. But I do believe there are far more cases because of our food, lifestyle, toxins, vaccines. We could go down the whole list, and I think they all contribute. So I think both have happened.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think we also want to give, and I may make some people frustrated with this statement, but we also want to create an excuse for people and whatever is going on in them, instead of working it out, and just working through things in the natural process of life. We've defined them as, hey, it's not their fault, so let's give them some medicine. Or let's not require as much, out of them. I've got two kids that were sort of on the spectrum for ADHD. Now, one of my children took some medicine, and it helps them be able to focus. My other child said, "I'm never taking anything ever. I'm going to overcome this." And guess what?
Yep.
They did.
Well,
he overcame it.
Now you brought up a whole different topic.
And I'm not saying some. I'm not saying it's not legitimate for many, many people. What I'm saying is that when we broaden the definition to everybody, you end up going, wait a minute, what's really going on here?
This is a whole different topic. I believe that I have ADHD, but for me, I think it was a superpower. I mean, I think it was an advantage. I don't think that it's a defect the way we try to treat it. It's just a different way of thinking and learning, but we've built our school system to teach one way. And if you fit that mold, great, you'll be a great student. If you don't fit the mold, early on, when I don't know what the difference was, my first 6 years of school, I was like the top student in my class every year, like straight A's and B's, never got a C, made the honor roll every time. Seventh grade hit. I thought they were going to throw me out. I
seventh grade. How old are you in seventh grade?
Like 12, 13.
What happens? What happens around 12 to 13?
Well, lots of things. Lots of things. But once that happened,
there's a big one though. Yeah. There's a big one, right? Puberty.
Yeah, hormones. Yeah.
So, shocker.
Yeah, and I was. Looking back now, I was just totally disengaged. I just didn't care. I wasn't interested in learning any of that stuff anymore. But, and I've said this before, I never once took a book home. Not once in 6 years.
I remember saying that. Yeah.
Never once took a book home. Never did an assignment. No homework, just wouldn't do it. And then I would take the test and usually ace the test. And it was enough to get me C's and D's, and I passed.
Right.
So it wasn't that I couldn't learn. I learned really, really well. I just don't like the way they teach. It seemed to me like that was what I spent all day doing, we could have accomplished in 2 hours.
I agree with you, Kevin. I had a younger brother that had dyslexia, and he ended up, going to college and things like that, even though he was pretty, it affected him pretty greatly, his dyslexia. And then I read a book by Malcolm Gladwell, one of my favorite writers. And there's an entire chapter about dyslexics and about what we think is a negative can actually be a positive.
Yeah.
And he uses a story from one of the greatest trial attorneys of all trial attorney history. Was a guy that was deemed a massive dyslexic. And the reason he was so good was because of his dyslexia. He had to train himself to have an incredible memory. So when you were in court, in trial, back and forth, going back and forth, questioning everything else, his memory was his superpower, as you just talked about. His superpower, his ability to bring up all pieces of the case, all pieces of information when he's talking to someone on the stand. And so he was very successful because he always had the greatest grasp of the actual information. So now, wasn't his dyslexia supposed to keep him from being great?
Right.
But that's actually and the guy will say it. The guy says it. That's actually what made me great.
No, I believe it
because it forced me to be great at something else.
Yeah, I believe
this is where I struggle a lot with this broad definition. We homeschooled our kids, and so you really watch the different. I got 5 kids, got 5 way different examples of different learning styles and those sort of things. All of them have great gifts, no doubt, on something. but they're not great at everything. I can tell you that.
Yeah. No. So you're at home.
I am at home. I'm going to be, as I mentioned to you last week, I'm going to be heading to Boise on Wednesday to do the 30th anniversary of truckstop.com. So lots of fun. And going to have lots of fun there. Just 30 years of, a technology inside of transportation. We're an ancient technology company when it comes to transportation.
Yes, you are. So, you know what? I mean, in forget just transportation. You're an ancient technology company on the internet.
Well, we started the year the internet came out. And so you know the story, but your listeners may not. Scott Moskowitz but before he started Truckstop, he was actually working for the Department of Defense. And he was trying to convince the Department of Defense to use this new thing called the internet. And they wanted nothing to do with it because they're like, we're not putting our information on this some public, platform that's becoming, it's going to have everyone's going to have access to it. So obviously he knew a lot about the internet, and that's how he came up with the idea to put freight online for everyone to have access to it. So kind of a revolutionary thing.
So there's some. Speaking of when the internet started, there's a lot of discrepancy around that. So I don't know how they distinguish it, but I think the words internet and World Wide Web are...
Yeah, it would be access worldwide. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because the technology was being used long before, because we're talking, 90s. Is when the internet kind of got going. But the technology had been used for a decade or more before that. A lot of scientists used it. They were interconnected computers in different locations, which is really the technology. I've said many times, I was on what would have been called the World Wide Web in the late 80s, mid 80s almost, on what were local chat boards, and they were somebody had a server in their basement and served up this bulletin board, and you can dial in and connect and communicate with people. And then the internet really got launched because of AOL. Mm-hmm. It was like the first graphic use where you didn't have to know command line and all that other stuff. But, for a long... In the early 90s, nobody really knew what the internet was, and they weren't using it until they maybe got a hold of, remember AOL used to give out like CDs at checkout counters all over the place. They were everywhere for a while.
Yeah, they were everywhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Internet Truckstop was an early pioneer just on internet technology alone, not just transportation.
Oh, well, for sure it was. I mean, we were the first online just about anything inside of transportation starting in July 24th, 1995. And so, but the reason that happened was because Scott had been, just like you were talking about, it existed long before the public had access to it. Scott knew all about it in college, so he was actually working on it in college when he was at Oregon State, and then working on it when he got his master's at Texas A&M. And so he knew all about, how the World Wide Web and the internet was working. And that's what he was building on for the Department of Defense. That's why he was saying, okay, it needs to be utilized for information access for the military worldwide. And they're like, well, we're not, it's not protected enough, so we're not going to use it. Well, his dad got really sick, and his mom calls and says, you're the oldest of our 7 children. I need you to come home and help me take care of your dad, who is probably going to die, and this was 1994. And so he moves home, and he's trying to figure out what I'm going to do. He knows a lot about like wireless access. And so he goes, I think I'll work with my local high school and get it wireless access in this high school. Well, dealing with schools and governments is very difficult to do. He's like, this is, I'm never going to get anywhere. He literally, he had to go get a car for his dad. His dad collects cars. His dad was getting better. He said, can you go get a car for me in California? So he goes to California, picks the car, drives it back to Boise, and he passes this field with a trailer sitting out in the field. And it says, need a load, call 1-800-LOADS to anywhere. It's this big sign in an empty drive-in trailer in the middle of a gypsum plant, field right in front of the gypsum plant. And Scott's a mathematician, and he goes, there's got to be a better way to get loads than, some billboard on the side of the road. Now he knew just a little bit about freight because in college when he was at Oregon State, he worked for one semester for a brokerage company in where Oregon State is in Beaverton, and so he knew just enough about it to go, well, I know it's a big industry, but there's got to be a better way to do this. So literally from California all the way back to Boise, he's writing down stuff on notes in the car. By the way, this is an old Lincoln Continental, no air conditioning, no radio. The radio didn't work. So he had plenty of time just to write notes down. And he came up with this idea. That's how he came up with the idea.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
It really is. I love stories like that.
So he goes home and he goes to the internet. He types everything in, because he knows how to use the internet. It's really key things. You had to key punch everything in. And he's searching for freight, and he did all these keywords. Nothing returned. He's like, I think I got a pretty good idea. So he goes to his dad. Scott's got zero money.
Yeah.
Right? Zero. He's married. He's got one kid at the time. He moved home. He left his job. He got zero money. But his dad's a pretty successful attorney, and believe it or not, attorney and what's the word? Person who writes fulfills prescriptions.
Pharmacist.
His dad's an attorney and pharmacist. Yeah, believe it or not, attorney and pharmacist. He goes and tells his dad, Dad, I got this idea. And he says, well, tell me about it. He goes, here's what it is. He goes, that's a pretty good idea, son. He goes, would you help me start it? Can I borrow some money to start it? And his dad goes, well, how much do you need? He said, I need $60,000, $60,000, which is a tiny amount of money in today's world. Because I need $60,000. I think I can do it for that. His dad said, all right, I'll do it, but I want to be your 50-50 partner to do that. So he and his dad ran the business forever. Got it going.
Wow.
And by the way, this is when you have the right idea. The very first month, the company was profitable.
Wow.
Even though they made a big mistake on doing a mail out, they spent like $20,000. Yeah, very first month was profitable and has been profitable every month since then for 30 straight years.
That's incredible.
So crazy.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. But think about this for owner-operators, because, you've been in that world and I've been in that world. Think about all of a sudden you've got access as a single truck owner-operator to all the data on freight in the marketplace in which you operate. You got access to the freight. You got access eventually to the rates in the lane. You have access to the broker evaluations. All these things that give you the ability to run your business. An amazing thing just on some guy going, there's got to be a better way than that.
Well, I have a personal story because had it started a couple of years earlier, who knows, I may be running a fleet. So early 90s, I had trucks. Yeah. I was trying to do too much at once, but I had trucks leased to actually at one point 3 different carriers, which is kind of a mistake.
Wow.
I had some trucks doing some local work, and then I had 2 trucks with my own authority, just started it, and was just going to go run general dry van freight. And back then, without load boards, and there weren't a lot of brokers. The brokerage industry was new. It didn't really take off till after deregulation in the 80s, so it was about a decade old. Not a lot of brokers. I actually went and got my broker authority because I couldn't find freight. It was such a hassle trying to find freight. And the further you got away from home, the more difficult it became. And there weren't the tools to know, is this a good rate or not? This isn't the rate I'm used to getting when I leave. Why did I get in this area where the rates are garbage and I can't find any freight? I'm sitting for days sometimes. And then I realized you're going to have to go get your own freight. And immediately, when you went into shippers, and it was way worse back then, if you went into a shipper and you had 1 truck, you weren't even getting in the door. They did not want to talk to you at all.
No, of course not.
But if you had broker authority, you had a better shot because now you can provide, supposedly you could provide them with capacity because you would have access to trucks, whether you did or not. But that was my biggest struggle. I was really good at running the business, being efficient, all of those things. freight was a nightmare trying to find. And I finally just started moving my trucks to my leased contracts before I almost crashed and burned. And then when I stopped and looked at it, my most profitable trucks were the ones leased to, it was RPS at the time, FedEx now. So I just moved the trucks that I had left to FedEx and carried on from there. But I had 11 trucks. I just couldn't keep freight on them.
Right. Well, not uncommon in the industry. But here's the incredible thing. So in '95, when Scott launched, then called the Internet Truck Stop, there was about 5% of all the freight in America was moved in the spot market. The difficult to move stuff. So fast forward 30 years, and now there's somewhere between 30 and 35% of the freight in America that's moved through the spot market in some means, whether it be total true spot movements, some of it's got some contract freight, some of it's even dedicated freight, but it's all moved inside this marketplace because it's grown more and more trustworthy because of the internet access and people being able to use it and feel more confident about it. So it's been an amazing process.
Yeah, well, I was there when it was 5%. It was a tough market, and you spent a lot of time sitting, and you spent a lot of time on the phone, and trying to do that with multiple trucks while I was still driving, and it was a challenge. And now I look, and the program we just released, I talked a little bit about last week. We're deep into it now.
Yeah,
what a different world. It was so difficult back then. It's so easy now.
Right. Well, this goes along with the webinar that we just recorded last week, the Trucking Mastery series, which I hope everybody gets to go out and take a look at that. Super great piece. And it goes on because this installment's topic was how to find profitable freight.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little easier these days. That's a double-edged sword.
But also more competitive, right? More competitive too, because there's more people trying to do it.
Yeah, a couple things. One, it's a lot easier to find freight. Back then, it was difficult. You spent a lot of time just finding a load, and many times when you found a load, you just took it. I mean, the rate was the rate. You just had to make do. You didn't have access to all the rate data to make a better decision. So it was just plain hard to find and a lot of work. Now it's drop dead easy to find, but it's very competitive. And it's also challenging because most people aren't choosing the right freight. They don't understand how. That was what our webinar was all about. You have all these choices, but sometimes too many choices makes things harder. You keep making the wrong choice.
It's kind of like if you've ever been to the Cheesecake Factory, and the menu is like half the size of a human being, and it's like trifold, and there's like 1,000 options on it. I don't know what to choose because there's too many options.
Now you brought up another topic. I have a rule. If the menu is more than one page, I don't want to eat there.
I'm with you on that, man. Too many choices.
And it's not just, the choices are easy for me because I have another rule about menus.
Yeah.
I'm always the first one ready to order because here's the rule. I start at the top.
Yeah.
I start at the top. As soon as I see a dish I like, that's what I'm ordering. I don't finish. I don't even care if it's a page. As soon as I see something I'm interested in, that's what I'm ordering this time.
There you go. That's pretty simple. I like that.
Yeah. So
you know what I want when I'm going in.
The problem with too many pages is, for a fact, it's all pre-prepared garbage. There's no way they're cooking, 92 different dishes from scratch. There's nobody back there that really knows how to cook other than opening up packages and heating stuff up because that's all they're doing. And you're not going to do anything well if you do that much. The best restaurants are a page at most, and maybe a couple of appetizers, a couple of entrees, and a dessert or two, and that's it. And they do it really well, or they should. It's a good sign, anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. For sure. Well, usually the better restaurants have less on the menu. That is true.
Yes, much less.
So, but it's been, So it's been, the thing for me that has been fun about watching the transportation industry with all the innovation. I'm just going to use innovation because it's not always technology, it's innovations. Is that it makes it better and better and better to do the thing that you talk about a lot and you and I talk about a lot, which is to chase your dream and become your own business owner yourself, be able to become an independent owner operator or eventually a small fleet owner. And so to me, it just makes it easier and easier. And so I get frustrated when I see people in their operations and they're not leveraging the use of innovation via data systems or technology to help them compete in the market or help them be more, profitable by being more efficient. So if you're not taking care of those things, or not taking advantage of those things today, KR, it's like, man, you're purposefully struggling.
I agree. You want to talk about the Rhodes Scholar program?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Please talk, because you brought it up a couple of weeks ago. Let's talk more about it. Absolutely.
So here's one thing that surprised me as we got close to releasing this, because I've been working on this for a long time. The idea has been around for a decade or more. Yeah. The actual physical work on this program has been almost 2 years now. Put a lot of time into it. I'm more nervous about this content than anything I've ever created. Including the very first seminar for partners in business that I had to do by myself. We know the story of the first one.
You were pretty nervous about that.
I was. I remember it was in Las Vegas when we used to have a Las Vegas truck show.
Yeah.
That was the next show after Matt's. Yeah. So we know what happened at Matt's that year. Then I had to do Las Vegas by myself.
Oh, we did.
So talk about starting from...
Yeah, I remember.
And talk about starting from scratch. I had to go buy a laptop. I didn't have one. You had to have something to write all this material on and present it on. So I had to go buy a laptop. I had to learn... what's the Microsoft presentation program?
PowerPoint?
PowerPoint, yeah. I haven't used PowerPoint in 20 years because I use Keynote. But I had to learn PowerPoint, had to build all the material. I was confident that the material was good. There was no doubt. I knew what was good and what people needed to hear. I was more nervous about the whole getting up on stage kind of thing. But the content this time is so wildly different that I'm just waiting to see how it's going to be received. I think it's the best material we've ever written. I think it will help more people. We could go back to that learning style, like how do we learn? And I think this is laid out in a way, multiple modalities, but storytelling but there's, I can't find anything like this, not just in trucking, but I can't find other training programs like this. So you look at it and you go, is there a reason nobody else has done this? Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you always wonder, maybe there's a reason that it doesn't exist. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. I mean, we've got a lot of the material done. We're week 1 rolled out last week. Week 2 is supposed to roll out tomorrow. It's probably a good thing it's raining because I have a lot of work to do. There is still a lot of manual writing and editing. We wouldn't even be able to do this without AI. And I've let everybody know this is being created because AI gave us a tool we never had before. There's no way we could have created the scope of this. You could give me a team of 20 people, I wouldn't be able to do this. But it still takes 4 of us, and right now it's still labor intensive. I was up at 5 this morning, 4:30. I'll probably be working on just 1 week's lessons the rest of the day, and the rest of the team has already put in a bunch of hours. But I really, really like the material, and I like that we've really finalized close, not quite ready yet, this assessment. I think this assessment is more powerful than anything else we've done.
Yeah, I think the struggle, the couple reasons why there's not something like this in the market yet is that timing has a lot to do with any success of any program. I mean, you've got a user segment or a customer segment, the owner operator, who is pretty fiercely, as you know, and because I know you know an owner operator, fiercely independent.
Yes.
I can do it. I can do it myself, which is true. You can. Everybody can. the thing is, it's like, what does wisdom teaches? Wisdom teaches us to utilize the tools we have to make ourselves better. So you still have to do it, but you're just utilizing tools. So I think about in today's modern world where you have the ability to distribute it to them and they can consume it in so many different ways that today is probably one of the better things like this to an audience that wants to like consume it consume it at different times.
Yeah.
So because obviously they have to drive a tremendous amount just to survive in their business. So I don't know, Kevin. I think there's also the aspect that there's a lot of people that go about doing this and creating a program like this that are really just out for the money they can get by selling something to an owner operator. And as I've known you for almost 30 years now, it's never been your goal. Your goal has been, how can I help you be successful? So to me, your purpose is much different than most that do this.
Well, and I will say, if this thing doesn't grow really big, I don't even see our break-even point. The break-even point is nowhere on the horizon right now. The amount of just pure money we've put into it, but if you start calculating time, the amount of time we've put into this, I'm not even going to bother trying to calculate a break-even point because I don't want to know it. It'll just be too depressing. We're going to put it out. We're already making some money on it, and it'll continue to be a revenue stream. But I don't want to know when we might break even, if ever. There probably was not another time in my career where I could have afforded to do this. I couldn't have taken this kind of a risk.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. People, successful companies are the ones that usually bring out these types of products where they can actually be. And then to me, I just look at what's the distribution points that you have. Obviously, you have a giant distribution point through Let's Truck. You have a distribution point through the relationship with truckstop.com. You have a distribution point with anybody else that you are connected to, Truck Parking Club. You have a distribution point there. How can you get this information out to the audience where they can consume it? And then maybe they can experience. Because that's usually the problem. The struggle is there was in the history of our part of the marketplace, there just wasn't a lot of platforms or media types that you could communicate this opportunity to without spending a tremendous amount of money. And that's the struggle.
Yeah.
So if you can do it, keep your costs low on it and get it out there, then you usually can find success with it.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to have to start focusing on now is better distribution. I mean, we've done
that's the key.
90% of the work on the material. It's there. We can continue to create material. I have ideas for more programs. If this works, we have more coming. And whether it works now is one. Will this model be accepted? Will people really see value in this? And two, if it does, how do we get it out to them? Because that's always a challenge. That whole phrase of build a better mousetrap and the world will be the path to your doorstep is total bunk. It's absolutely not true. You can build the best product in the world. If you can't figure out how to market it, it's going to fail.
Well, I agree with you. Yeah. Sometimes just a good product marketed excellently is the product that people utilize.
You know the best example of this? We'll go back to tech and because I've followed this the whole time.
Yeah, sure. Well, give you one. Yeah.
Microsoft. Microsoft was a garbage company from day one. They just had brilliant marketing and distribution. I can't remember. Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, yeah.
So I go back far enough to remember DOS. And it was when I bought my first computer, it came with MS-DOS. Well, I didn't know what that meant. You know what MS-DOS was?
Yeah. Well, I know what MS means. So what D
disk operating system.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, DOS is disk operating system. But MS was Microsoft. I didn't know it. Nobody had even heard of the company. It just said MS-DOS.
Well,
and it came with the computer.
Do I need to bring you back?
So
do I need to bring you back to that you didn't know what ORIDA was?
Yeah, well, exactly. So one day I'm in the computer store looking at software, which was a whole new thing anyway, and I see this program, and it said DR-DOS, and I'm like, DR-DOS? Is that different than MS-DOS? Like, DOS is DOS, right? It's just on my computer. I have a choice? So I started reading, and sure enough, it's a disk operating system, but it's different. It's not MS-DOS. So I bought it. It was about 10 times better. That's not an exaggeration. It did everything better. Yeah, and I was like, oh, well, this is fantastic. Except a couple years later, that company was just gone, and you couldn't even get it anymore because Microsoft just took over everything. Right. He didn't create DOS or Windows. He bought DOS from IBM. Bill Gates didn't write DOS. He bought it from IBM. Windows was a nightmare. It was a huge improvement over DOS, but it was a mess from the word go. And then eventually I got smart and bought a Mac. But the real interesting story, Mac was Apple was about a month away from just being done. They had gotten rid of Steve Jobs.
Oh, for sure.
He lost his own company. The board kicked him out. They were a total disaster. They were a month away from filing bankruptcy. You know who saved them?
I do. Tell off the tribe. Who saved them?
Bill Gates. Bill Gates gave him the money to keep going, which is a crazy story. His only competitor, really. Nobody else was and still don't. Right. Today you have Windows computers and Apple computers. It was the same way back then. No other competitor, and he saved them.
Well, you know, Steve Jobs paid that forward back in the day when the version of this thing came out, the smartphone, right?
Yeah.
Smartphone. He realized that he didn't really have any competition for it. So do you know Apple loaned some of their technology innovation and code to?
Samsung.
They because they had to have it.
Yeah.
This is a marketing, not 101. This is a marketing like 301 piece of information. In any marketplace that you're selling a product, you have to have competitors. And if they're not good competitors, then your best to class products can't be best to class because it has nothing to compare itself to. So that's why Bill Gates gave money to Apple, because he needed a great competitor. And it's the same reason why Apple gave money to Samsung, because you can't charge $1,000 for something that doesn't have any competition.
So
that's why they did it.
Do I need to give somebody some money?
Well, it's good to have competition. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it shows an abundant marketplace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wish somebody would. I'd say there's a few people out there that compete with you, but not at your level. I mean, you met Adam Wingfield. He does some decent.
Oh, Adam's got great stuff. Absolutely does. Yeah. So he's absolutely one of the more quality guys in the marketplace. For sure.
Trying to help, at least owner operators do good stuff. Yeah. Sure.
Yep. Hey, speaking of Rhodes Scholar, we've got a call. Let's go to California. Mike, welcome.
Good morning, Tim. Good morning, Brent. Good morning, Mike. So I want to talk about the Rhodes Scholar. I wanted to say, wow. Thank you, Kevin, for that program, and thank you to your team. Let's Truck Tribe team for putting it together. That's just awesome.
Well, thank you. So
I'm really enjoying it.
I'm assuming you've listened to the prologue in week 1.
I have, and I started in on the first episode. Is there a way to get a control the timer on that? Where you can, I stop, I go re-listen to it, I go to the very beginning again.
We're working on those details. Eventually, you will be able to listen on the app itself, on our Audio Road app. So then you'll have all the better controls, the better visuals. Right now, we're just putting it out as a plain MP3 file, but the plan is you will be able to listen to that in the Audio Road app itself.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm really enjoying that. That style is really, like you said, is different, being a story, but all the different tools and things to learn are in there. I'm really just enjoying it.
Good. Thank you. And that's the kind of feedback we need. I know the material is good. Yeah. The delivery is so different. So I'm sure anytime you do something like this, we'll get a lot of feedback. I hope the more feedback, the better. We expect a lot of it to be critical feedback, which is fine. Some people when you have different voices in a story like this, which is unusual anyway, somebody's going to go, oh, God, I just hate that one voice. Well, yeah, I know, but somebody else loves that one voice. It's just the kind of things you're going to have to deal with. But again, Brent, when this is it's delivered like an audiobook, and it's a story like an audiobook, right. But different than most audiobooks. I've been listening to audiobooks for 30 plus years. Typically, it's a narrator that tells the whole story. A handful of times over the years, I've listened to an audiobook where it's done like a full production with a different voice for every character and a narrator. Now, the reason you don't see that in many audiobooks is because my guess is it would cost you $100,000 to produce prior to
or more
AI, right? To produce a multi-voice book like that is incredibly expensive and time-consuming, except not so much anymore. And the AI voices are getting better constantly. Some of them are already really good. We have a lot of characters in the book, so a couple of them are so-so. But the more you listen, the more I really like it. The different voices really help you distinguish the lessons. You know exactly who's talking. Sometimes that's not always clear in an audiobook. So I appreciate the feedback on that.
It does that. And then in the prologue, in the very beginning, when I believe it's Bill Henderson was talking with Jake Martinez there, and Bill asked a couple of questions, really hit me in the face really profoundly. He asked, what's your plan to stay where you are?
Oh, yeah.
And where will you be in 5 years?
Right.
Those two questions were just a slap in the face. Like, I got it. I'm like, wow. So I don't want to be where I'm at.
Yeah, exactly.
I even asked one of my drivers at work. I asked him, he wants to be a driver too, a company, his own company in the future too. I asked him his own question. I go, what's your plan and where you're going to be in 5 years?
Yeah.
What are you going to do if you stay where you're at? What's it going to be like for you? And he's like, I don't want to be here. I go, I don't want to be here either.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm pushing him to get into this Rose Scholar. I'm kind of pushing on him a little bit to become part of it.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So, hey, Mike,
no.
What's the biggest thing that stands out to you about the Rose Scholar program?
I just like all the teachings and it's so intertwined within the story that I can just follow it right along. I get it all along. I get all what's being taught. There's no one single thing that sticks out per se. Okay. It's so fluid and linear that I get all the messages that are in there. It just comes across very, very easily.
The other thing
Mike,
let me jump in there just a second, Brent. This is one of the challenges we've gone back and forth on the writing, and it's how much repetition should there be? We learn from repetition. And I myself don't like repetition. I always want the next new thing, so I have to force myself to do things repetitively to learn them well. So the struggle is how much repetition is the right amount. We need as much as people can handle, is the way I see it, but we don't want to overwhelm them with it so that they just get tired of it. So I'm sure that's going to be one of the places where some people go, no, hearing it more than once really helped me, and somebody else is going to be, this is just way too repetitive. So we really work hard to try to find that balance.
Yeah, so far the balance has been good. It's repetitive but not monotonous, right? So you get the messages and you listen more to the story, and you come back to the message again that was being taught. You're like, oh, I get it. Okay, now I get it again. But it's not where it's monotonous. It's not overkill.
Right.
Good. That's what we're shooting for, and it's always hard to kind of find that balance. So Brent, I give you the big picture of how the story's laid out. So Jake Martinez is our main character. And Jake's been a company driver for 8 years. He struggles. You know, we break things down by the 90%, the 9%, and the 1%. 90% of the people, whether they're drivers, buy a truck, try a lease purchase, most of them just struggle all the time. Even people that have been in business for 10, 15 years are still one major breakdown away from not being in business anymore. You've seen it over and over. We've watched it. The 9% are the people who have finally figured out how to be stable and produce a good income year after year. They own homes, they put their kids through college, they take vacations, and they're not struggling. The 1% are the people that, like 1% in any industry, that are just excelling. You know, they could grow the business if they want to. They make more profit than sometimes double the profit of the average. So that's the one of the premises. Then we tell the story through Jake's eyes, and he meets a mentor who has this assessment, and you get assessed in 5 different areas: financial, business itself, family support. There's 5 different areas that you get assessed in. And just like I've always said, that assessment tells us where you are right now. Now, there's no really bad place to be. It's just we need to know where we are. We don't know how to get to where we want to go. So, but it scores you 0 to 100. And then it tells you your success probability. What are the odds that if you started right now with your current score, that you're going to make it? And most people are going to score less than 30. And if you score less than 30, your odds are almost 0. And that's why we see so much failure in this industry and all small business. If you actually score people who are trying to get into business and you understand the score and you show it to them, you'd look at them and go, you'd be insane to get into business right now, but everybody does. But this isn't telling you that you can't go into business. It just says you're not ready. Here are the 5 areas. Here's how you can improve your score in all these areas. And when you get to this score, you will be ready. And that is going to be a whole year-long process of telling the story.
Yeah. Well, that's why something sounded really, really exciting to me.
Well, Mike, how long have you been driving a truck?
I've been driving since 2010, about 15 years now, and I'm tired of being a company driver.
You sound like Jake.
I'm ready to.
What has you tired of being a company driver?
It's just I said mismanagement, the lack of treating our division as a trucking operation. It's like an afterthought. Or in materials, and we deliver, but the way they route the runs and the way they decide how it's being scheduled is piss poor. And I know something that's better. I give feedback and I can't get any headway. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm done with you. I got 2 years until I retire anyway. I'm going to do it my own. I can do it my own way. But thankfully, my company has given me my business name. I can't give out yet because I don't want me to take it.
All right. I can't wait to see it.
I have a, I don't know, Kevin, if you see my profile, can you see my email address?
I probably can if I dig down into admin.
Okay, because my email address is my company name, proposed company name, if you will.
I'll go look that up.
So yeah, my current company gave me that name. It came in about 10 seconds.
Okay. Now I'm really interested.
And it's whimsical. It makes sense. It's very to the point. It's a little funny, but it's serious, and it says what I mean.
There you go. I like that.
So I'm just waiting for time to pass by, learn these next 2 years, and go out my own.
Well, I will
make it happen.
I'll stick to it today to make sure we roll out week 2 tomorrow.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it, Kevin.
All right. Thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it.
All right. Yeah. No. Thank you to you. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Brent.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Take care.
Welcome. You both have a good day.
All right, Brent. What's on your schedule for today?
Well, I've got a couple days to just do a lot of follow-ups. I was at the Truckload Carriers Association Refrigerated Conference in Colorado Springs on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and have some follow-ups to do with a lot of refrigerated companies that want to look into efficiently parking their trucks. So that's a lot going on there. And then I'm also going to be doing a few things for Truck Stop. So just the Truck Stop, as you know, when Scott came back in, his point was to grow more products in the marketplace. I know he wants to talk to you. I don't know if you saw the email I sent to you and Scott and to his assistant on getting a time set up for y'all, for all three of us to speak about what some opportunities are, because Scott needs your leadership and guidance on some of the products. So that's just what I'm working on. And and then my one of my children had their wisdom teeth removed today. This morning.
Boy!
So I'll be taking care of my son. I'll be taking care of my son with my wife. So that's kind of what's on the menu today. But marketplace, Kevin, is just doing what it normally does at this time of the year, and so that's kind of interesting. I do have some data here. Let me get my data up. Okay, here we are. All right, so load posting volumes are still above the 5-year average, which has been that way for quite a while, which tells us the marketplace continues to grow, even though it did decrease week over week, but it's still up. Rates are 235 overall, but van rates for $1.96. Now, this is the average posted rate. There's lots of different ups and downs in the marketplace. Flatbed was 242, refrigerator is 239. The thing that, as I've talked about over and over and over again, I think it continues to give me good reason to say that the spot market continues to grow and in more health and strength for the owner-operator in the small fleet carrier, is that the outbound tender reject index, so the contract part of the marketplace, continues to be the amount of freight being rejected at the rate that it was negotiated at continues to be over 5%. It's been over 5% for 41 straight weeks, so almost a year. So it shows the market continuing to build strength back. But as with everything, we're in a large marketplace, so it takes a bit of time. So other than that, just kind of continuing to move forward and enjoy what I do.
All right. Did you watch the chat room? You watching the?
Well, I'm seeing these chats. Yes. What are we looking at? Which one?
So Steve is in there, and Steve he said good morning from Aurora, Ohio, which is right next to where I grew up. So I said I grew up in Streetsboro, Ohio.
Oh yeah.
Steve did too. Graduated 99. I think I was a little ahead of him.
I think you're a lot ahead of me.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's a pretty small town.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's amazing. I talked to 2 fleets in Ohio last week. One was in Versailles, Ohio, which is right near where my mother grew up, near Sydney, Ohio. And my mother's sister Nancy had a house in Versailles and lived there her whole life. And this is Classic Carriers. It's based in right there in Versailles, Ohio. I have about 100 trucks run by Lucas Subler, and so he does a great job. So, his fleet started by his dad. I think it was his dad or his granddad. Started with 1 truck. His dad was an owner-operator.
Yeah.
Built it into 100 trucks.
Lots of stories like
all
that.
These things, it's fun watching.
Yeah.
Absolutely are. So that's kind of what I'm doing and enjoying, celebrating a company that really cares a lot about owner-operators and about small carriers. And so that's Truck Stop after 30 years of doing it, and happy to be a part of another company that is doing the same thing, trying to help owner-operators be more efficient by parking. So it's just kind of fun, Kevin. That's like the same reason why I enjoy other than my personal friendship with you, the business friendship with the side of I love what we do together. And we're trying to help solve more problems so more owner-operators can chase the dream and proceed and continue to sustain the dream of owning their own business. And so that's really what we're all about.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited, and I can't wait to talk to Scott. And then I think we've got to get together on the Truck Parking Club. One of the ideas we have for the program, and we haven't done this at all yet, but the beauty of this program is the material is completely fluid and dynamic, and the way we're delivering it. Are you familiar with like a drip program, a drip course?
Drip, sure.
So we're really programmed to think, okay, there's a class that I want to take, or a college, high school, all of that. You choose your class. The class has a start and an end date. Drip is delivered. It's almost like a different experience for every person. So people who have already signed up have already received the prologue in lesson 1. Tomorrow, lesson 2 will be released. But if somebody signs up tomorrow, they're going to get the prologue, and they won't even know that they will have no access to lesson 1 and 2. It will get delivered over a 52-week period from their start date.
Right. So no cutting corners.
Yeah. So the beauty is you can start at any time, and it's not like you have to go back and try to catch up. You just start your experience from today, and you have a 52-week program from today. The other beauty of that for us, since there was so much material, and we put so much work into it, but no matter how much work you put into it, I read a week and I go, why we need to have this in there. How did I forget this? What about this? We could do this.
Right.
So the beauty of this is it's fluid and dynamic. It will change over time and get better and better, and we're able to update it on the fly. So one of the ideas that I have for our really good partners that I believe bring a lot of value is you should be in the story.
Oh, well, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Super interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. So why wouldn't we have Jake learning why it's so important to manage your time well and optimize your opportunities by paying for parking, which becomes an investment, not an expense? I mean, what a better way to teach that than right in our story.
Right. I love it.
Or the same with Truck Stop. I mean,
I didn't know you were thinking about that.
Where's Jake going to find his loads?
Right. Yeah, for sure. That's that's pretty revolutionary, just baking it right into the story.
Yeah. Yeah, we have that opportunity, and it can just happen as we grow and because the material is completely dynamic. It can change at any time.
Right. Isn't technology great, man? This AI thing is becoming more and more beneficial.
Not exaggerating, I'll bet there were 25 versions of the prologue before we released one that we liked.
Oh, wow.
And actually, we released the prologue that will go out now is different than what the people got the first time.
Right. Yeah.
Now, once you're in the program,
so you're
even though it's changing, if you want, you can always go back and re-listen, and you'll get the new information too. But each person, as they sign up, that's when their 52-week program starts. And they get it delivered in order a week at a time.
Yeah, but you're also, the thing that you were talking about here is you're able to iterate it. You're able to just continue to constantly improve it.
Yeah.
And which is revolutionary. Usually you couldn't do that because the cost of re-recording or redoing it would be astronomical.
You absolutely couldn't do it. But the longer we worked on the program and the more times I would stop and go, we just outlined that whole section. We forgot to put this in. And it wasn't so much you forget. It's just there's so much. I mean, when you think about all the business, all the everything that goes into it, there's just a lot. But the ability now to say, well, we can add this and it gets better. The other beauty is that I will continue to do the 2 hours of coaching, an hour every week. It's actually 2 hours every other week, where there's no teaching at all. All the materials being taught through the story. This is a chance to reinforce, get your questions answered, your specific situation. So, and no matter where you start, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not going to matter to me if I'm helping somebody that week, expand to 5 trucks, or if I'm helping somebody figure out if they should buy their first truck or not.
Right.
So we really think we've found like the absolute best way to present a lot of information in a way that it can be absorbed.
Right. I look forward to taking a look at it, man. That's going to be lots of fun. I love it. I mean, we want to help you get it distributed far and wide as you want. Absolutely.
Perfect. All right.
Cool.
Anything else
All
today?
right, buddy. Well, man, no, that's it for me. Got to get on to what's next for me, and it's just great being with you this morning, talking through sort of a monumental time for a company I love, and then talking about what you're doing with Road Scholar. Look forward to growing that.
All right.
Watching it progress over 30 years.
Looks like I've got another call about it, which is awesome. So I'm going to open up the phone lines and probably do another hour, and maybe we'll get a lot of feedback.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon, my man.
Okay, take care.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to New York. Scott, good morning.
Hey, how you doing, Kevin?
Good. What's on your mind today?
Well, I had a question about the Road Scholar program. I did not know that that's the way it's released with the individualized, I guess is the better way to put it in my mind.
Yes.
The question I had was, if you're currently in it, and week 2 is getting set to be released, if you do not do week 1, is week 2 locked out till you do week 1? That way you can't just, oh shit, I didn't do it and move ahead?
So when I say it's being released as a drip, I'm not 100% sure that we have all that technology worked out yet.
Okay.
But you won't even, when it's all worked out, we have a couple different ways we can do this. And I like I said, I'm not sure where we are on that yet. You won't even see that week 2 is there. It will.
Okay.
So if it works the way we want it to, you won't even know. You'll just say, okay, I'm signing up for this program and I have access to the prologue. Then a week later, you're going to see lesson 1. And then a week after that, you'll see lesson 2. It's not like you'll be able to see it but not access it, although that's one of the possibilities. So it really just comes down to how well we can make the technology work. It's possible that you'll see it, but it's locked until you finish the other one. I'm not sure how we're going to deliver that.
Okay. Yet. Yeah, because I'm in the program. Obviously, week 1 was up. I'm late getting to it just because of work schedules and whatnot, and I have not had the time to sit down and do it. And I just don't. I know me. Oh, now I'm behind. Now I'm 2 weeks behind. If it's locked, then I don't have the temptation to go ahead, you know?
That's what we want to make sure we can do is not allow somebody to jump ahead. The story is told in such a linear way that you don't want to skip lessons. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That's really why we're trying to deliver it this way. So people don't feel like they've got to rush to catch up, or they've got to go back and get caught up with where the class is, or it is a completely personalized program.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. You guys have thought of everything with this. It's a great idea, great program. I'm excited to be in it, but that's what I was wondering, because I know me.
Right. I would do the same thing.
I'm not the only one like that.
I would do the exact same thing. I would just go, I've been so busy for 3 weeks. I'm just going to skip to week 4. I would do it. And we don't want people doing that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I know I wouldn't get the benefit out of it at that point that is intended, and I would lose a lot and just be unsatisfied with the end product. So. Yeah,
and that's absolutely what we don't want. And I believe the beauty of the story model is that you're not going to want to skip ahead anyway because you're going to miss the story.
Right.
Where if it was just pure class stuff, if it was just pure, okay, here's the material, you've got to learn it. I know what I would do. I would look in on week 3 and go, I would skim through it and go, oh, you know what? I know most of this stuff already. I'm going to skip to week 4. Well, maybe I do know most of the stuff, but there might be 1 or 2 things in there really critical that will help me a lot. But I would skip them so the story keeps you interested in the story. We're really hoping that's how it works. And if we lock it down and you can't do that, you're kind of forced. Part of the challenge here is, like I said, we've invested so much money and time into this. I don't know if we'll ever make it back. But we could make this have wider appeal. If we just let everybody see all the information at once and go through it any way they wanted to, we would get more people sign up. The fact that you're kind of on this track, you've got to follow along. There's a story to follow. It will limit our audience. People won't sign up for it for that reason alone. I know there are people out there that just won't. But we decided this time, and this was part of because we can. I've been successful enough. We can afford this. If it never makes money, then it never makes money. But I would rather, like you said, you don't want to skip anything and then be unsatisfied at the end. We don't want anybody to be unsatisfied with any of this.
Right. It's what you've always talked about is people want the quick fix, the quick hit.
Yep.
That's what these people would sign up to do if you let them, and they'd be mad at you because they didn't get their money's worth.
Exactly.
And then, but people that want to do, as you've always said, do the hard work, they don't want to miss anything in it. And that's why I was curious, because I don't want to miss something. I don't want to be tempted to jump ahead. So.
And I'll tell people up front, this program is not easy. There are no quick fixes in here. There are no, hacks or secret strategies or just do this and you'll find the best freight, or just do this and you'll get the best fuel mileage. This program is really designed for people who want to dig deep and work hard. There's nothing fast or, I'll let a little bit of this out. Jake's timeline for being ready to start the business is probably going to be darn close to 3 years. He's starting in a really bad place, and a lot of people are. We're going to try to, speed up the process and maybe get him to 18 months, and there are some ways to do that, and that'll be revealed throughout the story as well. Some people might be able to start in a month. I mean, that's what the assessment is all about. The assessment tells you exactly where you are and how much time it's going to take you, or it gives you a path to get those scores up. And these scores work. I mean, this is 30 plus years of me helping people start and watching a lot of people fail. This score matters. If you get a high score, I can virtually guarantee your success. If you get a low score, I can almost guarantee your failure.
Right. I'm on the other end of things. I did it. I jumped in. I got owner-operator with my own authority, and I just want to do it better. Want to fix what I missed starting out and fine-tune it and be the 9%, if not the 1. That's the idea.
That's the other beauty of this. I know small fleet owners with 5 to 10 trucks that would benefit immensely from this.
Right.
And certainly somebody starting out. I mean, there's never been anything like this. Like I said, it was a whole lot harder when I had to struggle through it all. And I look at a program like this and think, boy, it would have made things so much easier.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to be running into bad service here, Kevin. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it very much.
All right. Good talking to you. Looking forward to interacting throughout the program. So I don't know if we've decided when we're doing the first. I don't think it's tomorrow. Could be, though. Maybe we will do it tomorrow. I don't know. I've got to look at a lot of things. When we do the first live session, once we start, they will be every other week. We just wanted to make sure we got enough material out there so people would have something to talk about during the live session and the Q&A, because I won't be teaching anything during those. That's the beauty of this program. You'll be taught everything through the story and all the other material. Then you'll have the live sessions to get all your questions answered. Let's go to Arizona. Tom, welcome.
Hey, Kevin, good morning. I'm fixing to pull on the scale. With are you going to do Brent's, you got plenty of recordings of Brent. You going to be able to do his voice and AI on your program?
So
he's going to ask me for my papers.
Should we wait here while you make
Where
it through
the papers? Well,
so here's the crazy thing about
Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, crazy thing about AI.
And voice cloning right now. I've tried, there's a ton of places where you can go and do what they call instant clones, where you feed it about 3 minutes of your voice, and it does a pretty decent job. It's not production quality, not even close. It's kind of cool. You can play around with them. Does sound like you. but it's nowhere near production quality. The system I use to clone my own voice, which still isn't perfect, but they're getting better all the time, I fed it 3 solid hours of me reading books. And then it took probably 12 plus hours to process it. Now, the plan that and then that voice, that cloned voice, is only available within their platform. I can't take that voice and go use it to do anything else with it. I can only use whatever tools they have. And the voice does not export in any way. Now, here's the crazy thing. For that platform, which is what we use to record our audiobook stuff now, and I put all that time and effort into cloning my voice, and we're not using my voice because I didn't like it. I like the professional voices better. We'll go back and work on that. But I think I'm paying $400 a month just for that one platform. I mean, we're spending a ton on AI right now. I think we spend $400 a month just on that platform to turn text into, spoken word. If I wanted to clone a second voice in that account, I would have to jump up to a plan that is $1,500 a month.
Wow.
Just to get a second cloned voice. Well, then you can't access that other voice in your productions.
Oh man, it sounds like somebody needs to come up with a better AI voice plan.
Somebody
I don't know how
will.
many are out there. Probably more. Yeah, somebody will.
There's a bunch in all of these categories, but there are clear leaders. And the leaders, in most cases, almost have a monopoly. So in digital voice work, the site is actually called 11 Labs. So they'll do audiobooks. You can take a couple voices and create an entire podcast from nothing. And it sounds like 2 people doing a podcast when, it was all written by AI. I mean, there are a handful of other sites that do the same thing, but they don't even come close. I mean, 11 Labs is clearly the leader. Like what's called vibe coding right now. Cursor is probably the leader. Although I think they're about to get squashed by Amazon. Amazon just came out with what their kind of version of vibe coding, and you can't even get into it yet. I'm on a wait list. But this stuff is moving so fast, it's insane.
Well, the companies that make the video games, you would think that would be a perfect fit for them with their, with the NVIDIA chips or whatever they use to make, you can't, it's hard to tell sometimes when you're I just see them on the shorts or whatever, where they'll show a war scene, and you don't know in it, and people are saying, no, that's AI, know what I mean? It's not real.
Well,
it's hard to tell. I'm looking at my phone,
Oh, you can't tell. Just a couple months ago, we were in negotiation with a Ukrainian company, of all things. They had 80 programmers. They were heavy into AI and have been for a long time. We were negotiating like a $40,000 package, and we would have had our own high-end AI voice cloning, plus a whole bunch of other AI audio tools. They were going to build us our own site. And $40,000 was a bargain, huge bargain, except before we finished the negotiation, I had been deep enough in this to realize I'm going to spend $40,000, and in less than a year, I'm going to be able to do this for $30 a month.
Yeah,
that's how fast it's moving.
No kidding, right? Yeah. It's not that. It's not that big of a rush to get it out. My God,
right?
Because like I listened to Mercola. Mercola has the cellular wisdoms, and I sent you a couple on Twitter direct message. I thought you might find one of them really interesting, or both of them really interesting. I wouldn't have sent them to you, but I'm sure they have a transcript somewhere because like watching those are like 6 or 7 minutes long. But I'm sure he's using AI for those 2 characters that he has for Dr. You know what I'm talking about? The Dr. Mercola's cellular wisdom. I'm sure they're AI because
you're crazy not to.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like, I'll keep going back to the analogy. It's like me digging a post hole with a shovel or an auger. I mean, that's the difference. Nobody would ever criticize you for using an auger, but people have got this weird.
But everybody did for you using the shovel.
Yeah. Everybody pushed me to use a better tool. What are you, an idiot? What do you mean you're going to dig holes with a shovel?
Right.
Don't just get an auger, put an auger on the back of your tractor, which the more I thought about it was a worse setup. The hand auger makes much more sense. But everybody was pushing me to use a better tool. But with AI, we've gotten this attitude that somehow it's not a better tool, that it's fake. Maybe it's because we call it artificial intelligence. Maybe we need a better name. But the approach is the opposite of everything we've always known. Everybody wants a better tool. Nobody wants to dig a trench with the shovel. They want a trencher. Nobody screws a screw in anymore with a screwdriver. That you don't do any of it. So we've always applauded and cheered and used better tools. AI is one of the most incredible tools I've seen, except we have this attitude that you're either cheating or it's fake. I don't understand the difference.
You know what? That's funny you say that because I've had like my screwdriver muscle in my hand because I had to use a screwdriver when I was at home.
Yeah.
And drive a long screw in. And
you couldn't do it, could you?
My screwdriver muscle, you know what I mean?
Right.
My little tendon. No, I had to take a break.
Exactly.
And then I had so I've had this pain for like 3 weeks. And then I was listening to the Mercola and he had another one on DMSO, which I found pretty interesting. So what I did was put a little bit of DMSO on one of my water bottles, and then I dropped in 3 Aleve. I forget the name of that drug, whatever Aleve is. Naproxen sodium.
Right? Yeah.
And then it takes forever to. Yeah, it takes like 2 days to dissolve pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, you rub that shit on, and an hour later, it really relieved the pain.
Yeah,
and then he says, and you don't have to, so you don't take it into your gut because his one of the ones I sent you was on leaky gut and how he attributes leaky gut to diabetes, to your gut not being able. It's pretty complicated, and you know a lot more about it. But how your gut's not able, it doesn't. It makes it makes you insulin resistant, basically, in the long run.
Turns out that all of this stuff, especially insulin resistance, is far more complicated than we understood. We've always believed insulin resistance is nothing more than the cell being so bombarded with insulin for so long it just becomes resistant to it. But that's not true. There's 15 other factors going on that we know of now. There might be 2 more that we know of next week. Who knows? It is becoming far more complicated than we thought.
Yeah, and then he was hyping up B1. And I looked in your store, and you don't have B1 in your store. And there's another, if you can look this up, it's a TTFD as in dog, F as in fire, D as in dog, TTFD, and it's Japanese. I wonder if Biomedics or whoever you're getting your things from, if they have it, and if we might not be able to get that. I want to get all my supplements from you, but you don't have B1.
So what would you want B1 for?
That's what he was. It was well. He was saying. What is B1's thiamine?
Thiamine. Yeah, B1 is thiamine.
Thiamine. Yeah, and I didn't look to see if he had thiamine in the store, but you might.
No,
maybe I should have.
Not on its own, because I'm not sold that there's any real benefit to just supplementing B1.
Okay, I'll have to listen to his cellular wisdom.
Yeah, let me know what
thing again.
Now, here's the other thing.
Why? How am I going to let you know? Send you a direct message for you to look at?
You call the show. That's how we communicate. You call the show.
Right. Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah, so
I'll write notes. I was driving. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll go back and one of the things I'm finding is that, and Mercola's doing a lot of this now. He's kind of gone off the rails. I mean, he's back to recommending whole grains and all kinds of weird stuff again, and he doesn't really explain why, or maybe I don't listen long enough or read enough.
He did explain why. That's right. That was for the leaky gut, especially.
The whole grains?
Was for the leaky gut.
For leaky gut?
The whole grains, because they get some kind of film. Yeah, they get some kind of film on them.
Whole grains are what cause leaky gut.
Like when you're making...
They're the worst offender in causing it. And then when you realize that most grains that people have access to are loaded with glyphosate and all kinds of other garbage that destroys your gut. I mean, that's... that's
we have to get them from Europe. We have to get them from Europe for sure.
It's like saying, I forgot my keys so I can open my door with my AR-15. Well, yeah, I can. It's not a great option, though.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of that same thinking. So I'm not paying nearly as much attention to Mercola as I used to. Here's the other thing I keep seeing when he talks about all these new fats. Well, it's not that I disagree with this premise, but why do we have to supplement these things? If we were eating the diet he used to promote, you get plenty of these things. If we go back to the diet he's starting to promote, eating whole grains that have a bunch of anti-nutrients in them, maybe that's why he's got to recommend all these supplements.
Do you get thiamine or B1 from meat?
Pork and fish are two of the best animal sources of B1.
Pork and fish.
You're getting it in all animal sources, but your best sources are pork and fish. But again, if we're eating a good animal-based diet with lots of variety, we're getting all these good fats, and we're not getting any of the anti-nutrients, which are a big issue, and grains are just loaded with anti-nutrients. I just
You have pork?
If I didn't...
pork in the store?
We have pork sticks, yeah.
Pork sticks,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maple bacon.
Those Michon cow, remember we were talking about
bacon pork sticks. You haven't tasted those?
No, I didn't. I ran my budget out last Tuesday, and this Tuesday I'll see what I can get for my weekly budget.
Well,
those Michon pigs though. Now I'm sure because they had that website for the everybody that has those Michon. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Pigs, and they're all pretty much farm. What do you call it? Wild raised? What do you call when you let the pigs run wild? Forested, yeah, forested pigs, and a lot of those guys have those forested Michons, and I wonder if any of them are selling a organic forested product in a pouch or something like that. I'll try to find one, and then I'll forward it to you.
You can't
and then I'll do my homework on.
This is an issue we're dealing with right now. In fact, I just made the announcement last week. You can't find any well-raised animal products in pouches or cans other than seafood. I don't know why we do it so all the time for seafood, but we can't get beef, pork, chicken. You can get them in cans. It's not high quality. You can't get forested, pastured, grass-fed. The one company we found, Wild Planet, and I love their beef in the pouches, they've discontinued it now. I don't know what it is about this market that maybe people aren't willing to buy it in cans or pouches and it's too expensive when it's raised right, or if it's an FDA. I don't know what the issue is. I tried to start this with Joel Salatin. We were going to do canned beef, all pasture raised, grass fed the way it should be. We couldn't get it off the ground, but COVID was a big problem. We were doing it right in the middle of COVID. But then the more research I did, the more I realized, why is this not available anywhere on the market? And then we found Wild Planet started their pouched beef, and they've quit already. What we have in the store right now is all we're ever going to be able to get. So when this batch is gone, we're done.
Is it because all the regulations and oversight by the government?
I that's part of it. I don't know why they make canning meat so hard, but we've been canning seafood forever. What's the difference? I can't figure out why there's no market for this.
Wow, yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it?
So
maybe you have to can it in the Ukraine and then have it sent over here.
So I could easily get
my Ukrainian flag on it.
I'm going to go back to the thiamine. Or B1. I can easily get my allowance by eating a rack of ribs, or some bacon and pulled pork. And pork seems to be high, much higher than other meats for some reason. This is something I would never think to supplement. I don't see any reason to supplement. I'm looking through the things that can go wrong if you're deficient, and I'm certainly not deficient, and I've never supplemented it. Now, it's possible I could go look. There might be, I don't have one with me. There might be B1 in Cardio Miracle for all I know. It's possible it's in there. There's so much in there. But I didn't have any of these problems before Cardio Miracle, so I don't think the B1, if it's in there, is doing much. I'm almost wondering, one of the better sources of B1 is actually whole grain. But there's no way I'm going to eat whole grain for B1 because it comes with a bunch of anti-nutrients as well that we don't know how to calculate. But it's almost like Mercola is going back to recommending a diet that requires you to supplement.
Because they sell so many supplements.
Yeah. I hate to think like that because I never thought of him in that sense. He's always been pretty upfront and honest, even when it hurt him to be that way. But I'm just wondering lately what's going on.
Didn't you have him on the show a couple years ago?
No, we had it arranged and something went wrong. I actually met him at the that conference is coming up in the next couple weeks, the Mindshare Summit. JJ Virgin's big event
corner him.
Yeah, I
corner him and ask him about.
Yeah, I'm not going this year.
Ask him about C15 too.
Yeah, I did meet him at that event, and we agreed he was going to come on the show, and we had a date set, and then I'm pretty sure he had to cancel. I know I canceled once on Dave Asprey. I don't remember why Mercola never came on.
Okay. All right,
what was it? Hold on before you go. What was that other, was it TTFD? Is that what you were saying? I had thiamine on my mind.
TTFD, yeah. Fire David.
TTFD.
Tom Fire David.
And it's a supplement?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what it stands for?
Apparently invented it. No, he said, but it was a real long word. Elemental. It had elemental magnesium in it, and magnesium's another confusing. I got the magnesium from you that Chelsea told me to get. I think you only had one in the store, but there seems to be so many different types of magnesium. That's confusing too.
Magnesium is the most confusing of all the nutrients. There's so many different forms. They can all do multiple things, but they usually target one thing. One is better for sleep. One's better for constipation, one's better for stress. If I had to recommend an overall magnesium, and we don't have it from Biotics, but we do have it available, it would be magnesium glycinate. That seems to be the best
that's the
all
one,
around.
That's the one I got then.
Yeah, that seems to be the best all around.
Okay.
So here's another place where I'm just going to completely disagree with Mercola. So TTFD stands for, let me see if I can read this, thiamine. So we're back to B1, thiamine again. Thiamine tetrahydrofuryl disulfide. Here's where I disagree with him.
Okay, I believe you.
It is a synthetic form of B1 thiamine. Well, I don't want synthetic forms. I don't care if you tell me it's better or not.
Neither do I.
We've been told all of this artificial bullshit was better for us at one time. And then eventually it turns out that, oops, we were wrong. We didn't understand the long-term effects of these man-made synthetic products. So I am totally not on board with this one either. B1 is available.
Okay,
we can get it in food. I don't think we need to supplement it at all. And if I am going to supplement, I'm not going to use a synthetic man-made form.
No, good. Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Okay. Good thing. I did see another disturbing video about nurses and that are given the vaccine shots, before the doctor gets in there or whatever for your newborn or your 6-month-old.
Yeah.
And they are actually teaching the nurses now that if you run across a patient that's vaccine hesitant and you don't think that you can get them back in there for their 6-month and boosters or whatever, go ahead and slam them with all the vaccines at once.
What?
If they're vaccinated, it's in the nurse's handbook. Yeah,
no way.
I'll send you the.
Send me that.
Yeah,
that is criminal.
Right? I'll
criminal.
look it up. Isn't that?
So there's two problems here.
Just in case the kid's not retarded now, we're gonna make him retarded.
So there's two big problems here. One, we need to relook at every single vaccine. They need to be run through whatever safety studies they should have been required to run them through before. I'm just completely anti-vax now. I just rather see them all pulled from the market, but they're never going to be. So they should at least have to be safety tested like every other drug does, and they don't. But here's the other thing that we know. It's not just that the vaccines have issues, and we could go through all the reasons why they have issues, and there's dozens of reasons why these aren't good ideas. But what we absolutely know is the closer you give, especially infants, more and more vaccines, the more problems they create. You can avoid some of the problems just by spacing them out and not giving the vaccine until it's really needed. Some of these vaccines aren't needed for 10 years, and they're getting them during infancy. Now they're doubling down on that, and let's just slam them with as much as we can get away with. That will create its own set of problems.
If they think that the parents are vaccine hesitant and you might not be able to get them back in for their next vaccine dose, just go ahead and slam them now. Yeah, it's not getting any better. And I thought with JFK Jr. in there, but I mean, he can only do so much.
Well, here's what happens.
They did. I saw another study.
I'm going to come up with a brilliant analogy here. You ready?
Yeah, I am.
So we talk a lot about...
On the edge of my seat, and that's only because I'm going through Arizona.
Excellent. We talk a lot about this with supplements and healing, is that many people in my coaching program are going to experience symptoms get worse before they get better. When we start treating you, you may get worse. The body's fighting back, with the bugs are fighting back. There's all kinds of weird things going on that can cause it to get worse. This is what's happening in our government right now. That our government is so big that you think, oh, well, he's the head of this or he's the head of the FDA. Everything's going to get fixed. Well, no, it's not. There's 100,000 employees in there. and there's a bunch of people making decisions every day, things are going to get worse before they get better because we've disrupted the system and they're all in a panic now. Like, whew, we better push this stuff through before we lose our job.
And the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing.
No, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And this is an example. Boy, you know, they're coming for our vaccines. We better push these as hard as we can.
Man, I just can't. I hope to God that I want to see Comey and Brennan and that other clown perp walk in handcuffs, you know, in their underwear at 6 o'clock in the morning, like they did most of the J6ers and shit. So badly. It's like, oh my God, that'll be.
You know, do you think it's ever going to happen?
You know, I don't, you know what? I don't know, because I listened to that Carmel Serafan, who was an FBI agent, and he's all like, you know what? When you get an arrest warrant, you don't know what the guy did, so we blamed a lot of the FBI guys for going arresting J6ers that shouldn't have been arrested, and all they do is just get, they just get the arrest warrant, so they don't know, so all they got to do is say, hey, there's a, 6'5" guy here, go pick him up. Last name Comey, and just see what happens. I just hope Newsmax or somebody's there with a camera.
So I
think they're going to get arrested, man. I think they might let them turn themselves in, which they didn't give us they didn't afford us that luxury. But this is, I don't know about Obama, but he was, and Hillary, but Tulsi released that shit. It is what it is.
So
they're guilty.
So catch me up to speed a little bit here. I want the Reader's Digest version because I have been completely disconnected from the news. Like completely for probably a month now. I'm been out at the homestead for about a month. I work every minute. I'm not asleep, which I'm fine. I'm not complaining. I'm loving it. I'm either working out, on the property somewhere.
Last week, Tulsi Gabbard released the smoking gun evidence on Comey, Brennan, Clapper, Obama.
Okay.
Emails going back and forth, and that they all colluded to steal Trump's election.
Let's go bigger picture. Because I'm totally disconnected. Yep. I did happen to catch one statistic in a headline somewhere that the Democrats in Congress now have a 19% rating, like the worst ever in history.
Right.
Where do you think we are politically as a country? What would happen right now if we had midterms?
Well, I think the Democrats would still win because Republicans don't get out and vote.
See, that's what I'm worried about.
Trump said. After what Trump said about Epstein but I think he needs to get out there and tell people what he meant. And I'm sure this is what he meant is because Comey's daughter had all that information. They took all the bad shit out for, whoever was in it, there was a Democrat or their friends or whatever, took all the bad shit out of it and then planted some stuff in there on Trump.
So here's what I'm worried about.
That's why he said it's fake.
All it takes is, a loss at the midterms to lose the House and the Senate. Yeah. And then nothing happens for 2 years after that. Then we get to a presidential election. The economy is going to be a mess because we'll be in the middle of all this chaos, and then it's going to be put to a stop, so it could be really bad. So then the president gets replaced, and all this stuff gets reversed. We'll be right back where we were before.
Except again, we won't lose the Senate, so he won't get impeached through the Senate, but he'll be in there, and then they'll arrest him again, and beware the next guy that comes after the deep state.
Yeah,
that's what it's going to be. But Trump pissed a lot of his supporters off and made a big mistake with this with the comments that he made. He's got to get out there and fix that shit.
Unbelievable.
And we got to vote. Yeah. No, it was. I
well, good luck
I can't believe he did that. I can't believe he did that.
I know.
Yeah, no kidding, right? All right. Okay, I'll call you Wednesday.
All right.
Let you know what I found out.
Talk to you then.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Yep.
All right. Let's go to California. This is my last call on the board. I will hang out if I get a couple more calls. If not, I'm going to wrap this up. So it's up to you. Hit that call now button on your app if there's anything you want to talk about, any questions you've got. Let's go to California. Jeremy, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. Thanks for being here.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop.
Oh, sorry. I got distracted. Hey, so midterms, what are midterms? When we vote for Senate and House?
Parts of Congress. So, oh boy, I should remember this better. It's not everybody comes up on the same cycle, but enough that you can flip both the House and the Senate during midterms. And it happens a lot. It happens a lot. If you go back and look historically, when a party wins all three, the president, the House, and the Senate, it is very common to lose something in the midterms. If you don't really get a lot happening, really good positive stuff in those 2 years, then you're very likely to lose the House or the Senate or both in the midterms. So that's very likely. The ratings are so bad you can't imagine that they could win. You can't imagine the Democrats could win anything with an approval rating that bad. But I think Tom might be right. Midterms, you don't get nearly the turnout. And if the Democrats rally enough people and there's enough things going wrong, then, and we always have to remember whose side the media is on. Whether things are going right or wrong, their spin can make it look completely different to the average person. So from the time, the last election was a landslide, all I've been thinking is, well, the midterms are going to be another story if we're not careful. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what.
Damn.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Because we don't take it like a lot of people just don't take much stock into that vote.
Yeah, the numbers go way down from when it's a full presidential and Congress. That you get a much bigger turnout, you get a lot more coverage. The media is going to be talking about the midterms a lot, but they'll talk about it in a way that'll make it look like the Republicans are going to lose control, and they might.
Well, I hope not.
Yeah, we'll see.
What I called to say, I guess we missed the boat on citric acid until I kind of caught what I think last week Tom was mentioning it, and I kind of looked it up and stuff. It's the way it's made, but that aspergillus Niger stuff, the mold,
black mold. Yeah.
I mean, and so.
Did you
happen
to?
It's mass produced. They had to figure out.
Did you happen to see the percentage of the amount of citric acid that's produced in this country, and what percent is produced from black mold or candida?
Yeah, like 99%.
Yeah, 99% of all the citric acid produced. We've always assumed it's just a completely natural product, and it should be, but it's not.
Yeah. So how long have you known that?
Since Tom brought it up.
Are we just all finding this out?
Yeah, I did not know this.
Okay.
Yes, I never came across this.
So, yeah. Okay. So, so now we read ingredients, but we really got to look even more like we like those 4505 pork rinds, but they have that Tejon or Tejon.
Right.
That citric acid, anything. Yeah.
The key, and I get it, where it's very, very difficult to eat this way. But my goal every day is to eat most of my food that does not have an ingredient list at all. Then I don't have to worry about ingredients, because how did I miss this all these years?
Yeah, we basically came to that conclusion as well. Maybe we kind of slipped and started opening a package or two,
Yeah, it happens.
Even though it wasn't,
right.
With grains, but yeah,
Well, here's another good example.
I do.
You got to watch the labels so closely. Lisa found a line of grain-free cookies. They had all the right words on them. Everything was fine. She handed it to me, and the first thing I do is read the ingredient list. The second ingredient was, I just forgot the name of it. It's the sweetener we get from agave syrup.
Agave, yeah.
Agave is 90% fructose. High fructose corn syrup is 55% fructose. Agave is 90% fructose. We don't like fructose because our liver has to process it. It's really hard on our liver. It's not a good sweetener at all. But here's a really healthy, supposedly really healthy, grain-free product, very clean, nothing wrong with anything except that sweetener.
Yeah, right. And wasn't there something you wanted? Was there something? Oh, okay. Yeah, what do you think about some of the people that obviously have healed maybe their past predictions they were in, and as far as when we were all eating, high carbohydrates and all that, most, right? And then some of the people that, even the carnivore doctor, Saladino or something, and like some people are saying now they're just putting globs of sugar on everything and eating it because their cells are healthy now, and
you can get away with
the benefit, but yeah, you can get away with it maybe for like a workout or something, but in my opinion, but I wouldn't want to do it day after day. Well maybe because we're truck drivers.
And this is where I don't understand where Mercola is going with this 250 to 300 milligrams of carbohydrates a day. I can do that for a little while, but it starts to catch up with me. I can feel the inflammation come back. I can feel some joint pain again. My energy levels aren't as good. My digestion doesn't work as good. I don't know if he is that healed that he can get away with that. But then the next thing I know, he's talking about whole grains again. I just don't understand that one at all. Wow. Every single human being I know does way better when they drop grains. Everybody. Seed oil's the same. We just don't notice the changes with seed oils as fast. But he's still a big believer in you should never eat a seed oil, but he's talking about whole grains.
Yeah, and that's many people have autoimmune, and that would be one of the causes, right?
Yeah, and it's that they're loaded with anti-nutrients. That's another. There's lectins, there's phytates, there's all the things we know are not good for our health, and there's nothing about a whole grain that adds to our health.
Well, since we're talking about it, real quick, another question: does colostrum actually help the healing of the gut lining for? I know it's like nothing's magic, but I mean, does it?
Yeah, I'm a little mixed on colostrum.
Maybe?
People really overhype colostrum. I get it. It's got a lot of nutrients in it. I think it's more overhyped than anything. Certainly not bad for you, but I don't know that it's the miracle supplement everybody thinks it is.
Yeah, okay. We were trying to see maybe about the dogs, getting how to get some vitamin D in them,
Yeah, you can
sardines.
always give them the drops.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much.
Okay.
Kind of judge it by weight.
Right.
Yeah, just give them the drops. That's the easiest way.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and I doubt that it would be a bad thing to give a dog colostrum, but it's fairly expensive. And here's the thing with if we don't have clear absolute proof of something's benefits, then my measuring stick is always, if I take this for 30 days, do I notice any difference anywhere? Do I feel different? Does my digestion work different? Can I look at all my biomarkers and see any changes anywhere? If I can't see a change after a month, I'm not very likely. I'm certainly not going to supplement with it. If it's something I can get in food, I may try to get more of it. But I'm not going to go spend money on a supplement just because somebody's convinced me it has all these benefits. If I can't see them, feel them, measure them, I'll wait.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, we're at with the yogurt. Tammy's been making it for a while. We've been.
Yeah, I was going to say, think about the dailies. If I don't take my Light Balance every day, in less than a week, I'll know it. I'll start getting muscle cramps. Happens every time. And I've tried other ways to supplement the minerals. Nothing works as good as Light Balance for me. Cardio Miracle. If I go a couple days without it, I can tell a difference. Vitamin D, absolutely. Don't skip vitamin D, especially during cold season. You'll probably get sick. Mind Fuel. If I don't take it within a couple hours, I know that I didn't take it. So all of my dailies are dailies because I can feel and measure all the differences.
Yeah, well, I wonder what'll happen. We're going to stop making yogurt, the L-Reuteri, right?
Yeah.
And just because we've kind of been getting we bought, like Dr. Davis came out with a My Reuteri strain, like capsules instead of the ones, from the BioGaia. Yeah. Well, ever since, we don't know it's because of that or the strainer. Maybe we start thinking, maybe the strainer, the container's going in. Maybe it's not sterile. Maybe we should have got the whey right from the jar now after it's done out of the sous vide.
Okay.
Just skip that and then strain it. Save the whey right out of the jar. Maybe if we do, we'll do it that way next time just to see. But yeah, $50 every time we make a batch. We gotten a couple inconsistent batches. So I wonder if I'll notice anything if I stop taking it. But
let me know.
We're definitely going to switch to the gold honey. Yeah, the Biome Gold and the Zen, right? Is that what we should do? Or
I would. I would give it a try. Most people really... Yeah, Biome Gold and the Zen probiotic.
Yeah, or do you think we should maybe take a different one in your store? Like I heard you talking about soil based or.
Well, the Zen is a soil based.
I don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
In Enviromedica, we have at least 3, maybe 4 different probiotics from Enviromedica. We have Deep Immune, we have Daily, we have Zen. There might be another one in there somewhere. All of Enviromedicas are spore-based or soil-based. The basic probiotic that we know will populate your gut is like Lactobacillus and some of those. That's Biodolph 7. So those are really our 2 different lines, either the biotics or the Enviromedica, and I actually like both. But I really recommend taking the Zen with the Biome Gold just because you get that one side effect. About 80% of the people get really vivid dreams.
Okay, and that's 2 a day? Is that 2 caps?
2 a day, or as much as you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to overdo.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But 2 a day
Man,
at least.
I thought of something. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll definitely call and let you know if I get depressed or anything, or lose or maybe, or maybe I'll lose weight because I was just eating a bunch of, cream. Maybe, I don't know.
Who knows?
No, it's always been bitter. And even we lost the bitterness too going on. So we don't know what happened. So, yeah. But we're going to switch to that, and then I'll let you know. And
all right.
I forgot what I was thought of. Okay.
All right. We'll talk soon. Thanks for the call. Let's go. Calls are starting to pile up all of a sudden. Maybe because I asked. We're going to go to Missouri. Jerry, good morning.
Hi, Kevin. Before I get to the real question I called about, I had a side note on DMSO. I had never ever in my life ever heard of DMSO until you started talking about it. Coincidentally, in the latest release of one of David Baldacci's series, there was a couple that died, but their daughter in the same car didn't die. The medical examiner determined that they were probably cyanide poisoned. However, they could not figure out the delivery mechanism until she did the autopsy. She noticed a peculiar garlic odor during the autopsy on both of the husband and the wife, and determined that it was cyanide-laced DMSO that killed them. And they figured out, finally, by the end of the book, they figured out that it was the waitress at the restaurant was in on it, and she had handed the couple a hand wipes that was DMSO cyanide concoction that ended up killing them.
Interesting. Boy, what a way to weave that into the plot. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. It was such a obscure reference.
Yes.
It was because of the delay in the time they died and the time they were poisoned, the time they died. They couldn't figure out how to heck that it absorbed that much, because the daughter didn't die and she was with them for lunch and everything, and it ended up being a waitress handed the adults the different hand wipes.
So I watch and read a lot of true crime. It's like one of my favorite topics. I'm just fascinated by people doing stupid stuff and then eventually getting caught. I can make a prediction. David Baldacci's a big writer. I mean, he sells a lot of books. Somebody's going to try this to off their spouse. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Somebody's going to do it. Poisonings.
Well, maybe it already happened, and maybe that's where he got his idea.
That could be too. Poisonings, I watch it and read a lot of this. They're always one of the hardest to track down. There's probably a lot of people that get away with it. The ones that get caught, it's usually, somebody worked really, really hard to catch them. Some of these things, even if you can identify that they were poisoned, which a lot of times they don't, and then eventually if they do, it's very, very difficult to go back and figure out what the source of the poisoning was. Now, this whole idea of delivering something like that with DMSO, that's just crazy.
Well, it is. You've surely seen that little video clip around for quite a while now about that tearful lady in the interview room getting interrogated by the police, and she says, well, your husband died from poisoning, but why did he have bruises all over him, too? Because he didn't want to take it.
I haven't seen that video, but that's kind of funny.
I've seen that several times.
So,
it is so funny. She beat the hell out of him to get him to take the point.
So what's the title of the Baldacci book? Is it a new one? Must be.
It's a fairly new series. It's a Trevor Devine series.
Oh, I haven't read any of those.
This is the third book in the Trevor Devine series. Well, there's only 3 in the series. It's a fairly new series for David Baldacci, and the title of the book was To Die For.
Okay.
But that was the third book in the series. I hate to recommend it because I can't stand reading books out of order. If I want to start a series, I have to start at the beginning. I won't read the last one. Yeah, so anyway, it is the Trevor Devine series by David Baldacci, but this was the third book in the series. That's a pretty good series.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on my list, but I will start at the beginning.
Yep, I think the first book it's kind of weird because I thought the series was going to be the 620 Man, because I think the first book in the series is called The 620 Man. And it had to do with him always being on a train, and there was a lady with a bikini, and depending on what color bikini she had on out by the pool in his mansion, she was signaling him about some clandestine signals to him. And anyway,
that's a Baldacci book, that's for sure.
Yep, that it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just an interesting side note. So on to my real question. Joel talked about these goofy things on Thursday about these exercise things. So a 2-part question, I guess, is explain to me, like I'm a kindergartner, what the hell is he talking about? Number one, and number two, if you're only going to spy one thing, would you buy an X3 bar, or would you look at some of them things Joel was talking about? What the hell are they?
Okay, so first off, I'll say that the most powerful combination would be both. But let's start with what these are.
Right.
There's 2 different technologies that essentially do the same thing. They use electricity to stimulate the muscle directly, and they stimulate the muscle to flex. So you actually feel, you put electrodes on, and he was talking about the gel pads, most of the systems, all of the systems that we can afford use the gel pads, and the gel pads wear out, so you got to replace them. So there's an ongoing cost. But you put these electrodes on, you stick them onto your skin, and wherever you stick them, whatever muscle is there, they will stimulate that muscle to flex. and then relax and flex and relax, which is kind of like a workout. You do a curl to stimulate the bicep to flex and relax. And when you flex it enough that it kind of tears the fibers, then when they rebuild bigger and stronger. I mean, that's the whole point behind resistance training. This simulates resistance training to a certain level. Now, nobody is ever going to sit around with a bunch of electrodes on them and win Mr. Universe. That's way beyond the capability of these things. You will see increased muscle tone if all you did was use the electrical stimulation. There's TENS and EMS, two different technologies, and you can use them combined. I'm actually looking at a product that does both. You will see muscle tone. You'll see better blood flow. There's lots of advantages to these things. Now, one of the reasons I kind of gave up on them, I tested these things years ago, before I was even into the health, because I was into resistance training and I used to own a gym, and they've been around a while. You get what you pay for. If you buy the cheap ones, and it's like a lot of things, they make them look like, oh, this is great and we're half the cost of the other ones. Well, there's a reason you're half the cost. To me, it felt like, it didn't feel like my muscle was flexing. It felt more like somebody was irritating the muscle with a wire brush. It was a really annoying kind of feeling. And I just didn't like it at all. Then I did experience a very high-powered TENS unit. And if you turn those up too much, it's almost like a muscle cramp, which isn't enjoyable either. There is a sweet spot in there. And almost all of the good ones are strong enough to go deep and adjustable enough that you can get them to where they're effective and it feels good and it's not annoying. Early on, most of the products on the market were just garbage. I was shocked when I started doing the research on these. The suit that he talked about, the German suit, it's several $1,000s. But it looks incredible and doesn't require pads. So if you could afford the upfront, you don't have all the ongoing cost after that. Joel is sending me texts all day long. He's invested a lot of money in this stuff. He's got one called, let me go back to, Bionic Gym. These are, I think they're specifically, their product is just for the thighs. So you have two big, wide, well, it's one, kind of like one wrap, but it's separated somewhat. And you put one on each leg. One goes way up high on your thigh and the other one's closer down to your knee. And Joel's reporting is incredible. What he's been able to do with these so far. So it looks like that technology's come a long way. I'm getting ready to order some products and start testing now. So it is in a sense keeping the muscle active and working, and it's something we could do while we drive. That's what's really getting me interested in this. I've never been able to come up with anything that could help a driver with all those hours of sitting. It's horrible for us. And you've heard me every time I interviewed somebody, I would always ask them the question, do you have any ideas? And nobody really had much of anything. This is promising, and I'm going to start doing some research on this. My guess is to get a good unit, you're going to have to spend somewhere in the range of $400 to $600. Now, how does that compare to the X3? Well, the X3 gives you a better workout, and you are truly activating the muscle, and you will get more results in, muscle strength and stamina. But the real power is in combining the two. You'll get results that you can't get out of either one on their own.
All right.
But I would also say, the X3 requires discipline. It hurts. It's hard. It might only be 10 minutes, but it's 10 minutes of pain. I mean, you have to push yourself, and you got to take the time. And I know I get out of the habit, and I get busy, and so anything that is passive Like when I get these units, the first thing I'm going to do is when I sit here and stare at a screen all day, I'm going to have these things on using them.
If you're going to drive for, let's say, 8 hours, would you have it on the whole? I mean, you wouldn't want to stop and take it off. Could it be on a low setting the whole 8 hours, or would you just time it and turn it off? Or
yeah, you can turn it on and off. You can change the levels. I would seriously consider, if I were driving, after maybe 2 hours with it in one position on my body, I might just hit a rest area, just long enough to stop, switch, and get back out on the road. That kind of a stop never bothers me. It's when you've got to get off an exit and you've got to go find a place to park and you lose an hour. But I mean, I can pull into a rest area and not lose 5 minutes.
Can't do it. No, can't do it. Once I start, I can't stop.
Yeah, well, you're worse than I am.
Not within my psychological capabilities to stop once I get driving.
I thought I was extreme on that, but you're worse than I am.
No. Yeah, I am. I know, and I'll admit it. If I can make my delivery in 7.5 hours, then I'm going to be there in 7.5 hours, and it's not going to be no rest area, no nothing.
Then you're just going to have to find the several $1,000s to get the full German suit.
Well, there you go. God, would it be kind of hot, though? I mean, you got air conditioning, I know, but wouldn't you sweat in it?
I don't know.
Or with a mag?
I don't know that I'm going to go spend a couple $1,000 to test the full German suit. Who knows?
Yeah, I doubt probably either. But all right, that answered the question. I just understand what he was talking about and how it compared to the S3.
I'll have to see how much money's in my research budget.
Yeah, probably $3.
Yeah, could be.
But if I get busy, all right, I'll try to get another order sent in this week so you can get your suit. So
there you go.
I think I got one. I got an order delivered. I left for it, got it delivered, so it's a delivery point, and I'll try to get another one this week so you can get your seat.
So here's one of the combinations I'm looking at. The unit I'm going to buy is about maybe $500. That's the first one I'm going to test for a lot of reasons. One of them is I want a unit where you can export your data, because there's some data from these things, and you can read it on an app or you can read it on the device itself. Surprisingly, most of them don't export that data. I want to be able to export it for my coaching. We can get Garmin data. I can get CGM data. I'd love to get this data for coaching. So the product I'm looking at does have really easy export to share the results. So that's one of the things. And then this Bionic gym setup, it looks like it's specifically for thighs, and that's a tough one. Those big muscles take a lot to stimulate those. But I'm thinking with 2 units like that, you could throw them on in the morning and just turn them on and off wherever you want. So you could have the Bionic gym on your legs and have the other system I'm going to test somewhere else, shoulders or back or wherever, and you turn them on and off as you want.
All right. Well, you kind of answered the question. I wouldn't give a damn about exporting data. I wouldn't be smart enough to figure out how to even do it, so let alone try it. I wouldn't even try that. So I wouldn't care about exporting data at all.
Yeah, instead of testing smart devices only, I'll test a dumb device for you.
There you go.
Strap it on and press the button.
You answered the question. Oh, my God. We're talking about strap-on. Yeah, there you go. All right, Kevin, enough of that. So.
All right. We'll talk.
Thanks for the info.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you soon. I need to get ordering that. I was going to order it over the weekend, and I just got busy. I'm doing a lot of... I go from one extreme to another. I go from sitting for 8 or 10 or 12 or 14 or 16 hours straight some days. And then I go 12 hours with nothing but physical labor outside. And I need to get a little more balance on that. Maybe this will help. Let's go to Michigan. Michael, welcome.
Hey, Kevin.
What's on your mind today?
Is it still raining over there?
No, it looks like the sun actually came out.
Oh, that's good for you. Good. Let me give you some background. So I'm a regional driver, and I shift occasionally. And then when I'm not driving, I'm at home running a tractor that doesn't have cruise control. So I'm using my right leg a lot for throttle.
Okay.
And recently the muscle below my buttocks on my right leg, above my knee, though, is hurting.
Okay. Like
and I was wondering
hamstring?
if they're somewhat.
Okay.
I can just feel the muscles there. So I was calling to see if using the X3 bar or Sirius Steel bands, if there's a workout that I could do to consistently use that workout and get that muscle strong.
Yeah, you could actually do this without either one. The bands are going to be better. But you could really hit a lot of muscles all at once, including the one you need to hit. Probably one of my all-time favorite exercises, if I could only do one, it would be deep knee squats. And you can do them with just body weight. You'd be surprised if you do 10.
Really?
Just 10 really slow, deep knee squats with no weight. How much you will feel that. You just go really slow.
Incredible.
Yeah. Now, with bands,
okay.
you
I will
can
definitely try that.
Yeah, with bands, you can do great squats with the X3 bar. You can do one-legged squats. The standard is just a basic 2 squat. The beauty of the band over weights. I was a big free weight guy forever. I owned a gym. I thought the machines were goofy. Bands I hated. Here's the huge advantage in squats. If you are just reasonably strong, you can squat a lot of weight. People would probably be surprised how much they can squat. And then as you do it, you get stronger faster. The problem is you start getting up to those 300-pound numbers. And even for somebody my size, that was not out of the question, 300-pound squats. You can't go deep. You'll tear your knees apart. But most of the benefit comes from going really deep. The beauty of the band, the deeper I go, the less resistance there is. By the time I get all the way down to the bottom of the movement, the band is slack. That's perfect. On the other hand, if I've got 300 pounds on my shoulders, I get down to the bottom where I'm going to get the most benefit and I'm going to tear my knees apart.
Yes.
So the bands are awesome for squats.
That brings me back.
Squats are the single most beneficial exercise you could do. It hits more muscles and more big muscles than any other movement. Second would probably be a good deadlift. Same thing, you hit all the big muscle groups. You just don't have quite as much range of motion as you do in a really deep squat. But you'd be surprised at how much benefit you can get from body weight squats.
All right, I will definitely try that.
Yeah, go as deep as you can.
Is there a certain way I should?
Yeah.
Is there a certain way I should keep my arms?
No, whatever's comfortable and helps you with your balance. I tend to like. How old are you?
34.
Okay, you may not remember this. Remember I Dream of Jeannie?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how she used to cross her arms and then do her little nose twinkle thing?
Yes.
That's how I do my squats.
Of course.
Body weight squats.
All right.
I just cross my arms like that.
And when you were...
Yeah, that I know some people that hold them straight out in front of them. That helps them balance even more. That's not a bad way. For whatever reason, I just like my arms crossed on my chest. And with body weight squats, go as deep as you can go unless you feel something that feels like an injury. You know, if you're going deep and you feel like a really sharp pain or a twinge in your knee, but your knees are kind of vulnerable, then back off a little bit, but work on that. Try to go deeper, as deep as you can without injuring, and then continue to go deeper and deeper as you do it more. When you go deep enough, you really activate a bunch of new muscles.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
All right. Give that a shot. I think you'll notice a big difference. The other thing you can do, since it's your right leg doing all of this, do half as many sets on your right leg. Do one-legged squats. And you can put the other leg down for balance if you want, but try to put all the stress on one muscle. And I would do the left slightly more than I did the right.
All right. I'll look for a manual that shows me that. I'm a visual learner, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Give that a shot. All right. Thanks for the call. I think we're going to wrap this up for the day. Good Monday show. Thanks, everybody. I am going to ignore the fact that the sun is coming out. And I am going to work on week 2 of the Road Scholar so it gets out tomorrow on time. We will see you back here tomorrow. Join me for Coffee with Kevin if you are a member at letstrucktribe.com at the Gear Up level. If you're not, get signed up and meet me tomorrow morning. Coffee with Kevin. It's our special member-only show at 7 a.m. here on the West Coast. That's 10 for you East Coasters. If you're in the middle somewhere, figure it out. We'll see you then. And then the Power Hour, of course. Be safe, be profitable, be fit and healthy. Always do the hard work and master the journey.